Kia ora e te whānau. Did you hear that Conversations with Wahine is now an award-winning radio show? If you are passionate about our kaupapa and growing community and want to give your brand more visibility, why not sign up for one of our flexible sponsorship packages? To learn more, contact us on Instagram or Facebook. Conversations with Wahine, amplifying the voices of women.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Wahine. Today you're joined with me, Harita, and I'm joined with Haley. How are you going, Haley?
Good. Excited for this one. Growing
Me
up watching
too.
Suzy.
Me too. I get really excited when we interview people that I grew up watching as a kid, and I'm like, oh my god, I finally get to interview them. How cool! We've done a few interviews like that in the past now, so it's an awesome feeling. So a lot of you would have heard of Suzy Cato, especially those of you that grew up in New Zealand in the 90s. She has been a friend of the Kiwis across New Zealand for over 30 years via radio, TV, and live performance. She's a household name since the 1990s with the award-winning preschool program You, Me and Suzy, and she created her own production company called Tree Hut TV to create Suzy's World, Brian and Bobby, and more recently her nationwide radio program, Suzy and Friends, and her brand new Suzy and Friends in a podcast, which she creates with her co-host Trevor Plant. Suzy was also delighted in the opportunity to reconnect with her young friends again when she danced as a contestant in Dancing with the Stars in 2018. Since then, she's made history being the first ever masked singer in New Zealand's first series, and she relished the opportunity to connect with a new generation of tamariki via home learning during COVID lockdown. She has written 14 books, and her most recent book is her fourth with Scholastic New Zealand. It's called I Can Do It, and it's also a song, one that she wrote with singer-songwriter Kath B, who was her writing partner for the much-loved song Sprinkle a Little Sunshine, which has become a school assembly favourite, and the very popular Big Little Bubbles. Suzy set herself a challenge earlier this year to release the kids' songs she's been working on for the last few years, and she's just released her seventh and has a song coming out each month for the rest of the year. Her kids' radio show, which plays on Wellington Access Radio at 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings, also airs on 26 stations around Aotearoa each weekend. The podcast, talk-only version of the show, which is part of RNZ's stable of podcasts, is into its second season. She was the founding chair of Kiwi Kids Music for 6 years with children's champion Arthur Basting, and Suzy continues to create events for Kiwi kids to connect them with artists from around New Zealand that are making quality content for Kiwi kids. She also hosts a monthly Sounds Fun series of events at the Tuning Fork and curates the New Zealand Children's Music Awards for APRA, AMCOS New Zealand, RMNZ, and NZ On Air every year. She has 3 YouTube channels, Tree Hut TV with nearly 1,000 videos, Kids Talk About Books, and You and Me New Zealand, her most recent channel, home to archive episodes of the iconic preschool program You and Me, and soon to be home of the brand new series of You and Me. And last but not least, in the King's Birthday Honours for this year, 2025, she was acknowledged with a New Zealand Order of Merit for her services to music, television, and education. Welcome, Suzy. How are you?
Really good. Look, I think you've covered it all. I'll see you
I
later.
have. When you sent me your intro, I thought, oh, this is quite long, and I tried to remove some things because it's quite a mouthful to say all of that. But then I was
Well,
reading it, and I was like, I don't know what to remove because all of it's really good, and I don't want to remove something because it's all important. So I
well,
kept all of it
when
in
you
there.
asked for a brief bio, I thought, oh, there's a whole lot of stuff that you can pick and choose from, and maybe you
Yeah.
can base some questions around and things like that. So, listening back on it, I'm going, God, I do go on a bit, don't I? Quite a lot.
Well, it was good enough that we chose all of it.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And it shows how diverse you are. You know, you're not just doing one thing. You're not just doing kids TV, but you've done Dancing with the Stars. You've written books. It's like, you know, you're so widely accomplished.
And that's one of the things about being a children's television presenter. Long before Dancing with the Stars and long before COVID, you knew how to pivot because you had to chop and change, and gosh, the opportunities would either come up or disappear all of a sudden, and you'd
Mm,
be off doing something else within a very short space of time. But yeah. Hey,
yeah,
now,
very
we've
true.
started the interview, but I haven't started properly. I haven't said it's our time, kia ora, talofa. It's our time, a special time of day, and it would be rude not to do that.
It would be. It would
I
be.
remember that song.
We should have just made that your intro. We didn't need anything else.
Exactly. Is it all?
Everyone would have known who it was with that.
Yeah.
You follow it up with, hello, my friend. How are you doing today?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's been quite a few years since I've watched it, but now it's all coming back.
Yeah, literally it is. It is on that YouTube channel, You and Me NZ, and a brand new series, which we are absolutely stoked about, thrilled and honoured to be able to recreate and give it a bit of a reboot and connect a whole lot of kids with a nice, gentle, conversation-based slice of Kiwi life and a bit of education thrown in amongst it all.
Yeah, I think that
It's
will
gonna
be
be
really it will be really cool because it will be like all the kids that grew up watching you. This new series will now be for their kids.
Yeah. I was in Wellington just recently,
Mm.
last week of the school holidays, and visited 6 libraries across 3 days. And so often the case was it was a little babe in arms and 3 adults, mum, dad, and an auntie or a grandmother or somebody like that. So that was so cool that they were there. The babe in arms didn't have a clue who Auntie Suzy was, but those grown-ups knew who Fire Suzy was, and it was lovely to just reconnect with them and to know that I'm now singing for a whole new generation. Amazing.
Very cool, very cool. So, what inspired you to start a career in children's television and entertainment?
A really good question. I happened to be in the right place at the right time, basically. So I started in radio, left school and started in radio. I had done some work experience with a local national station. Gosh, I can't even think of the name of the station after all these years. Crikey. And around the same time, put my CV in for a local FM station, KCCFM. Got this opportunity, was involved in radio and had so much fun there. Moved to Auckland and into radio in Auckland, and again, you just have a lot of fun. Moved away from radio, tried my hand at various things, and I was taking recording artists into television productions to be interviewed. So there was 3:45 Live with Fenella Barfield and gosh, Phil Kogan, I think, was on that program as well. So there was some iconic names, and I was taking these people through to be interviewed, and I managed to find an opportunity. I went to a party, got to meet some of the employees of Rex Simpson, who was creating a lot of children's television for TV3 at that time. And I'd met Rex at a party or a barbecue about a year earlier and spoken to him about he was making kids programs, and we talked about the various programs that we'd enjoyed as children. And I was, I would have been about 19, 20 at the time. And he asked who was my favorite television presenter as a child and why. And it was a woman called Catherine McPherson. And she was amazing because all this chaos and what now was happening all around her. And she would be a big part of that. But she would also leave what was happening there and come and talk to you through the camera like you were part of it. And so the chaos is still going on behind you, but she just drew you in and checked in on you and, all that kind of stuff. And it was just that bond that you felt you had with her, which was so special, which was what I shared with Rex. Anyway, went to this party, got on really well with his employees, and about a week later I got a telephone call asking had I ever thought of being in television. And I had, but I hadn't imagined it being children's television. It was a fantastic opportunity, and I went through to a read-through of the script with, oh, I should have bought him. I've got a little stuffed Russell Rooster down the other end of the rumpus room. And Russell Rooster and Auntie Kitty Kia were the stars. Yo, doodle doo, dude. He was, of course, a puppet. There was a puppet on the hand. So I got to be Chicken Lips. I got to be his PA. So I was, in fact, his CA. So I was a chook assist, not a personal assistant. And I got to be his facial expression was what they were looking for in a human, because they had Russell Rooster, Kitty Kia, who was a Kia, Dan, Spike, and Oz, who were the crack-ups. They were joke-telling ducks, and they had all these amazing characters. MC the owl, who was this young kind of gopher. He was a little owl, and he was their like assistant, and it was just such good storytelling. But the only thing is, with a puppet like this wee chap, he's not a puppet, but you look at that face, and it's the same face whether he's saying, "Hey, happy birthday," as he is, "Oh, dude, sorry," So the same with Russell Rooster. "Yo, congratulations, you've just won a prize," was the same face as when he said, "Oh, no, sorry to hear your dog died," type thing. So they were looking for a human element, and I was given the opportunity. God, how many years ago was that? That was in 1990, and there was no formal training or anything like that. We read the script around the table. They had like half an hour in front of the cameras just before news went live. So the news camera operator trundled the camera through to our studio, and sorry, TJ, you lopsided it. Had this opportunity in front of the cameras there, first time ever in front of TV cameras. It wasn't live or anything like that. Okay, we've got to go. Trundle. The camera went back into the other room, and then the following morning, I was in hair and makeup at 5 o'clock, and we went live at 6. And looking back at some of those earlier episodes, it was a bit scary and a bit daunting. But we had so much fun, and you learnt on the go because it was live, and there was no going, "Oh yeah, muck that up, can we redo it?" And I had my clipboard, and they had their scripts, and we just kind of muddled our way through it and had a whole lot of fun. It was brilliant. So I wouldn't say that I dreamed of having a career as a children's television presenter, but when the opportunity rose and I accepted the challenge, I fell in love. I fell in love and loved what it meant to be a child and retain that curiosity and that optimism and that observer's view on life, where you just take it all in and be inspired by it all and things like that. Yeah. Did I answer the question, or did I go off on a completely different tangent?
I mean, maybe both. I was very happy with that.
Right. Me too.
It's really evident the passion that you have for just storytelling and education. Is that something that you found coming into this, or is it something that was influenced earlier on in life?
I really loved performance of any kind, really, whether it was speeches or I was involved in, I grew up in Kaipoi, up in the far north, and we had a little theatre there, which is what it says on the tin. It was a tiny little space, but we performed in pantomimes and all kinds of things. So really loved that whole idea of getting dressed up and becoming somebody who you might never be. It's just that you could be anybody on the stage. And that's what I loved about reading as well. You open up the pages of a book and you could be transported anywhere. You close the book, finally, the wee small hours of the morning because you couldn't keep your eyes open any longer. And your dreams were filled with such amazing visions, and your daydreams were incredible. So I've always enjoyed dress-ups and role-playing and having fun. And I guess I did at one stage consider being a teacher when I was younger, just as much as I considered being a pop star, and I used to dance around the room with my hairbrush and all that kind of stuff. And
You're kind of doing both.
Yeah, exactly. I still haven't got my driver's license for a bus yet, though, because that was my I wanted to be able to drive a bus, fill it full of people, and go on a tour. Oh, I would
Like the magic school bus.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, party bus.
Can you share some of your favorite memories and moments from your time hosting shows like Susie's World or You and Me?
Yeah, sure. Oh, look, we had such an amazing time. I would fly from Auckland, where I've been based for the last 34 years. That sounds really old. Yeah, for quite some time. I would fly to Dunedin for 2 weeks of every month to make You and Me. And we had such a wonderful team down there. And by leaving my personal life behind and going to work for 2 weeks, I pretty much focused on You and Me. Got up in the morning, got to the studio, got changed, got into the outfit. We did recorded 2 programs or 2 episodes a day, and then you went home. In Dunedin, you'd be sometimes arriving there in the dark and then leaving there in the dark in winter. And in summertime, you just had all these endless hours, so lots of long walks and all those sorts of things. But primarily focused on that one program, and then came home for 2 weeks and got on with my life of being a partner and then a wife and all those sorts of things, which was really, really cool. But
That,
one highlights from You and Me would often be the live performances. So you took that one-on-one conversation that you had with the child and all the songs that you sang, you then and we never had children in the audience and as in on the set with me, and you wouldn't have a live audience the way you would with a lot of sitcoms and things like that, because you get the kids interacting. And so I would go to a live show, and even now, I run Shore City in Takapuna, the shopping centre there. I run a Bubs Club most months. I do a Bubs Club, and some of the kids that have been coming for a little while now, you see their confidence building. They know me. They know what songs they want to hear. They tell me if they haven't heard the songs that they want to hear. And if we're singing a traditional nursery rhyme and I've done it slightly out of order, a good example was last week we did Going on a Bear Hunt. And I decided to go through the mud before going through the river. No. We weren't
Mhm.
doing that. There was one little man, and he was just adorable. No. We have to go through the river first. So then we sing that part of the song, and then we go squelching through the mud. And I just turned around to the parents and said, "See, this is why I wanted to go through the mud first, so we could wash it off in the water, you know." And it's that interaction. So the live opportunity of performance is amazing. The feedback you get from the kids, and the adults, to hear everybody singing along, particularly to songs that you've written yourself, is just so rewarding. And then afterwards, and we did this for years while I was doing You and Me, and I still do it now, is you have that photograph opportunity afterwards. So everybody comes up one by one. You have a big hug. You sit on your knee, have your photograph taken. You maybe sign something, and away you go. And you get to know families. So in Wellington, I had over 1,000 hugs. I worked out because of all the different families that I met at all those 6 libraries. You're just so special. And so, from a highlight for Susie's World was just the fun, the fun. I didn't do a live tour around Susie's World, but we learned so much. And by then, for Susie's World, I'd formed my own production company and had funding to make that program myself as opposed to working for somebody else. So, boy, that was a learning curve. So yeah, and I still got elements around my set that have come from those times. So yeah, very special, very special.
that's incredible. You've been doing this for so long, yet you're
Hmm.
still coming up with new ideas. How do you do that?
Um, Mum always used to call me her Peter Pan, which is ironic because as a kid, I was always taken for much older than what I was, because I was quite shy. I was quite well behaved and responsible and all the rest of it. So I'm reliving my childhood, I guess now, which is fantastic.
Hmm. And how do you come up with all the ideas though? Like, when you're creating your new content now, how do you make sure it's different to what you've done in the past and something that's going to keep your audience interested?
Spending time with kids, Uh, and interestingly enough, when we made Susie's World, we made the first series, like I think we had something like 60 episodes or something like that, where we based them on questions that we wanted answered when we were kids. So we looked at and ones that were also important because we're aligned to the school curriculum. So when we started, at the end of each episode, we'd say, "Hey, if you've got something you'd like to us to investigate, send us an email." Oh, we didn't have the internet back then. It was send us a letter, and we'd give our postal address and so on, and suggest that they go to the library to find out more. And when the letters started coming in, it was the questions that they were asking were the same questions that we asked as kids. Why is the sky blue? How can birds sit on power lines without being electrocuted? What happens when you eat baked beans? Why do we fart? All those sorts of things. What's in the middle of the earth? And all those questions we had there was very seldom that we came across a question from a child that we hadn't already answered, because that was what we wanted to know. So I guess just spending time with kids and knowing that kids quintessentially, despite all the screen time and things like that they have, they still fundamentally are the same thing. They're the same child all these generations later, that you engage them with a bubble wand, they're with, a sandpit or blocks or something like that. The attention span might be a little bit shorter now for some kids, but invariably they're caught in the moment, and the curiosity of how high can I build it before it topples over, all those sorts of things. It's still exactly the same.
That's really cool, and I like how you got kids to write in letters and things, because again, it makes them just feel like they're part of the show. Like, one of them might be watching the show and think, "Oh, that was a question I sent in," and it just brings that connection in.
Exactly. And so we do that now with the podcast and the radio show. So we get emails, not as many letters. We get lots of emails though with jokes and mute song requests and birthday shout outs. And for the podcast too, one of the things we do is we run brain teasers and a game called What's That Sound? But we're getting brain teasers sent in and jokes, and it's giving kids a voice. We use a lot of voices of kids through sharing their book reviews, or um, what they did on the holidays and all those sorts of things. So kids hear their own voices. It might not be their actual voice, but they can go, I rode my bike during the holidays too. It's all relatable.
Very cool, very cool. What do you find the most challenging and rewarding about creating content for children?
The most challenging thing would have to be lack of budget. So
Always,
yeah,
always.
yeah. So making content. So to have been given funding for a series of You and Me, and to still be having funding for the kids radio show and the podcast, is just phenomenal. It's amazing. So very, very grateful for that. And so that would be the most challenging. And that oh no, the technology does make things so much easier than it did. I guess one of the things, particularly say with Susie's World, what was most frustrating is that I didn't actually have a shrinking machine, that I just had to pretend I was shrinking. So if I was able to actually shrink, I could have walked through my own hair and looked for those knits myself, that kind of stuff. that when we're trying to explain what it's like to be a fly and how flies can walk up walls and on ceilings, and I had to pretend that I had enough Velcro dots on me to hold me to the Velcro wall type thing. Once again, that's budget. But so that's the most challenging. Did you ask what the most rewarding thing is? Is the feedback from kids of all ages on how they connected. So whether I have kids coming up to me, or I say kids your age, coming up to me and saying, I'm now a scientist because I loved Susie's World and it really got me interested in, marine biology or whatever. or I exploded one too many things at home, so mum dad sent me to a science program. So they, that kind of thing, to know that it resonated with them, that the preschool program You and Me was such a haven for so many in busy lives and things like that, to have somebody who was always there when mum and dad were rushing home from work and flying into the kitchen or whatever, that there was somebody that did actually say, hey, come and have a look at this. And as a parent, I know that you can't always do that. You can't always be there. So that's where extended families and the fact that it takes a village to raise a child come into play. That we can all play a part by just taking a breath and taking a moment and smelling the roses or the smelly socks with your kids,
It's really sweet to see just how much teachers and children's entertainers really guide the next generation, even when it comes to work, what we have our interests in, what we do in the world. Yeah, it's really lovely. How do you balance the entertainment and education aspect of it?
I guess what you're trying to do is make a veggie burger out of it. So that's an old phrase was, you would hide all the veggies inside the patty type thing, or because you've got the bun on either side and you've got all those veggies in there, it's like, oh yeah, we're eating it without even realizing. And that's it. With Susie's World, the kids kind of learnt by osmosis, because I would start with a hypothesis, and invariably it would be completely wonky and all the rest of it. And I'd make a whole lot of mistakes along the way, which is how science processes. You experiment. Yeah, that didn't work out. Let's try it this way. Oh, that worked. Okay, we better do it again to make sure that was correct. So the kids are watching me make mistakes and have fun and make a mess and all the rest of it. And in the process, learn. The same with you and me. You were coming and visiting me at my house with all my toys and things like that. All of a sudden, we've sung a song and learned about a part of our body, or some te reo, or the concept of baking a cake, and that it takes ingredients and mixing and stirring, and their vocabulary is expanding, their paradigms are expanding. If you want to get into the bigger picture of it all, and because with you and me, you had so many images of kids going to the beach, kids going to the zoo, kids doing all these things, that although those children at home might not be doing those things, they're living it through the other kids. And there was always that potential.
And so, as a follow on from that, what messages and values do you hope children take away from your shows and books?
Hope and positivity and kindness and generosity and a love of learning, a lifelong love of learning, and optimism. I mean, my most recent song, my most recent book that I put out with Kath B, um, was actually a song that started when I was doing Dancing with the Stars. And I signed up for Dancing with the Stars and then went, do you know what? It's been a long time since I've danced and I'm really unfit. So I actually better start walking before I start trying to do my dance training. Because in the end, I was doing 7 hours a day minimum. And when we got really into production, we were doing 9 or 10 hours a day around your life. And I had 2 kids and, a job, and I had my radio show and all the rest of it. So it was full on, and I signed this contract, and then I went, oh my goodness, what have I done? And outside of at the bottom of my driveway, you start walking up a great big hill. So I started, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And that became a little chant that I had. And I went to Kath B and I said, we wrote that song, Sprinkle a Little Sunshine Over You, which is all about thinking about the good things so that you can move away from a blue day. With I Can Do It, can we write a song about that? And so it became this fantastic song that's Scholastic identified as being a great book. And I guess all the music that I put out now, it's my most recent one that I released today, with just 4 strings and a voice to sing. It won't be long before we find a song. La 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 la. You know, these catchy little tunes and so on. They're upbeat, they're fun. We've got so much on our plate, even as big kids, but kids have so much on their plate because of the anxiety and the stress that their parents are carrying with them. And if they're watching the news, they're seeing what's going on around the world and what's happening in New Zealand. And it's just like, oh, for goodness sake, you just want to put a pillow over your head and hide. So it's about going, hey, that's just part of it. And let's look at the positivity of life. There is so much good. All we see in media is the negativity. So let's look for the good, because there's plenty of that. There's far more good in the world than there is bad.
Yeah, how do you think children's media has changed since you started? And where do you see its future?
Well, when I first started, there were only 3 channels in New Zealand. And
Mm.
so I was in a real sweet spot. And anybody who was making children's content at that time, we had 3 channels and all 3 played children's content. Now we have endless numbers of channels, and hardly any of them have any set time for children's content. So we're lucky we've got TVNZ on demand. We've got access to YouTube. I say that because I've got my content there as well, but look, it's a double-edged sword, even for adults. The ability to keep on scrolling and keep on watching and click that wrong button, and you can't unsee what you've just seen. You know, those sorts of things. For kids, they need to be out and doing far more than they need to be sitting and watching. So even with Suzy's World, it was like, oh, go in and at the end of the radio show, it's like, oh, what are you going to go and do next? What are you going to go and do now? It's not about sitting on your bum and listening to the next thing, although come back and listen to the podcast as many times as you like, because that'll but you know, it's a catch-22. You want them to join you, and you're providing them all this good content, but you really want them to then be going, oh, I'm inspired enough. Hello. You can
Oh,
Your cat.
I should have brought my dog into the interview.
Oh,
Just had
yes,
her on my lap.
Oh, my cat heard your cat meow, and now he's looking at me. Like, where did that noise come from? I have
My
2
dog's
cats.
probably cuddling my partner in the other room, hearing the
Alright.
cats like, "Let me in."
Did you come in? Loki was a foster kitten. We started fostering kittens
Oh,
during lockdown.
Oh,
Hello, you're going to say hello?
how old is he?
He'd be coming up about 5 now, I think, because we got him in maybe 4. Got him in the last lockdown, and in that last big lockdown in Auckland. And we had successfully returned all the other kittens, but this one, can you see them? Can you see it?
hello.
Yep.
This
Hey,
one
buddy. You're so
managed to stay
handsome.
long enough with us that we couldn't let him go. He just became
Oh.
I can see why.
yeah. He loves his mummy. Yeah.
I can see that too.
Sorry, he monopolized the conversation then. What did you ask me?
We were talking about how children's media has changed
Yeah.
since you first started and now, and how there were how you encourage kids to go outside even though they're watching your show and things like that.
Yeah, and it's that whole thing of there is just so much content available, which is great because so much of it is good, but there's also so much that is bad. So it's, as parents and caregivers, how we are playing a part in our children's viewing, and that's much easier to do when they're younger, because when it was just a television channel, you turn the thing on and you turn the thing off. Now a lot of people are using it as a babysitting tool, and they did even then, back when they were watching you and me. Mums and dads put the VHS in the machine, record as many episodes as possible, and then they had time to they could be making dinner or go and have a shower or something, knowing that for 25 minutes their child was going to be happily engaged and being fed a veggie burger, getting all this information without even realizing it. So now, because of technology the way it is and the screens the way they are, as adults, we need to be more heavily involved in what our children's viewing. And whether that is because they're on a screen, if they're in the TV, or a computer, it's in the living area, as opposed to them taking it off to their bedrooms. You can't unsee things. So if you know that they've shut the screen quickly because they've seen something, and then talk to them about it. And it's that open line of dialogue with your kids. And sometimes it's not the most convenient times and all the rest of it, but I'm so very grateful for the relationship that I have with my two children, who are now 20 and 18, that many a night has been sat on the end of their bed just chatting, unpacking the day, that you know what's going on in their lives. Not everything, obviously. By the time they're that age, they like to keep some things to themselves. But you're there for them and they know that. And so if you can start that conversation happening at a young age, then they can also, as they grow older, help you go through things that you might be going through in your life as well.
I think that's really important these days, because a lot of kids just, like you're saying, they just get buried into their screens, and a lot of parents are just more and more busy with work that they're not as present in their kids' lives or in the home life. So kids lose that connection with their parents to be able to just chat to them about things.
Yeah. And another thing is, when parents do go home, they want their time out. So
Yep.
you're lucky if they look up from their screens. So you're getting kids coming to school with the inability to hold a conversation, to have structured sentences, to their vocabulary is so reduced, which is so I don't want to say it's worrying, but it is concerning, and you do want to ensure that that kids are given a great start at life, the ability to be able to read, to be able to communicate, to express themselves. Babies cry, and it's their only way of letting people around them know that they're hungry, they need their nappy change, they're uncomfortable, they need attention. If you don't have the ability to communicate, you are going to cry and get louder and louder, and that's going to result in violence or whatever. You can't communicate yourself clearly. We really need to be focusing on that. We need to be giving those kids a chance to be able to communicate in various ways.
Yeah, that's very true. What role do you think cultural identity and diversity should play or does play now in children's programming?
Oh, huge part. I mean, as part of You and Me, we were one of the first television programs to really incorporate Te Reo Māori. Ollie Olsen and Keep Cool Till After School, he was one of the first as well. So really important. This is our identity. It's our cultural identity. It makes us unique in the world, New Zealand. We are also such an amazing melting pot of so many different cultures. And if we want inclusivity and we want communities working together, we need to be showing that in great examples in our children's content and in our content in general.
You're probably quite a role model for all of these people who have been watching growing up and now their kids as well. The fact that they talk about how you kind of sent them on a path to science or other various things. It's pretty incredible. It must be so rewarding to
Yeah.
hear that.
Well, you don't set out making a television program with that in mind, but if that's an end outcome, that is amazing. And to know that the program You and Me, and it's very easy as the presenter of a program to take all credit for it, but the mastermind for You and Me, and for so many of the children's programs I was a part of, Rick Simpson, had a vision, put an amazing team around him, and made sure that You and Me had all the values and had that cultural connection to Te Reo Māori. to Te Whenua, and it was a real goal of his. It was really important that we incorporated it in everything. So I feel very lucky to have been part of such amazing teams, and then as a producer myself, to bring a team around me that's helped me carry that on. So I can't take full credit for it, but I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah. Were there any role models that you had growing up that helped shape who you are now?
I think, definitely, wonderful role models in my grandmother, my auntie, my mum, of course, my mum, and yeah, there are so many people that play a part in your life, for good and for bad, that you learn from along the way. We are so lucky here in New Zealand that we have such strong, amazing female role models, and that some incredible work has been done to open doors, to push that glass ceiling, and to make a big difference. Very early on in my career, when I formed Tree Hut Limited to start making Suzy's World, excuse me, I was on the board of WIFT, Women in Film and Television, and just hearing about some of the iconic women in broadcasting in New Zealand, that changed it so that women didn't down tools in the newspaper industry and broadcasting industry before it got dark, so that they got home safely, and all those sorts of things, that they were designated to make the tea and be the receptionist and all those sorts of things, as opposed to being a journalist. So the work that's been done is incredible, and yeah, I love that what I do now shows, I guess, kids that anybody can do anything. I'm now 57, so to be an older person on the screen, and although that's not particularly old in this day and age, it's still much older than the average children's television presenter. So for me, that's really important too. That the older generation has so much to offer the younger generation, and vice versa. So it's great to have that as a role model as well.
Yeah. And what is something about your work or life that a lot of people might not know about, but you think is important to share?
I'll be trying to think about that. I mean, over the years, I've had so many interviews and so on. I don't know that there's much that people don't know about me. I'm work orientated, that it's not like I've got any hidden hobbies, talents that.
What do you like to do to wind down? Work.
Well, you own your own business, and
Yeah, you never
on
wind
a
down.
shoestring budget, and you try and make that budget stretch for as long as you can. And yeah, we pivot. We do a lot in this office, all our own production, recording, and editing, and uploading, and all those sorts of things. We call on fantastical musical producers when we need to, but and other talented folk along the way. But you end up doing so much. And it's quite sad. I do spend a lot of time in the office, but then it means that I'm also creating events for myself to perform at. Like once a month, I've got an event at the Tuning Fork next to Spark Arena in Auckland, and
Cool.
we bring different artists up from around the country. So I've got Chris Sam, who's from Wellington. He's up not this weekend after, 24th of Sunday, the 24th of August, and we're going to be performing, and we'll be performing one of the songs that we wrote together. So he's going to be singing his songs, I'll be singing my songs, and then afterwards we do these arts and crafts tables and a music activation, where either somebody brings instruments in for the kids to try, or I'm going to be singing my new song, which is not so new now. It's been out for a month or so, called Here Comes the Parade. And it's all about getting a paper towel roll and making as much noise as you can. That kind of stuff. So we'll be making some kind of trumpet or something after that. And
I do that with my dog every day.
Yeah. Brilliant.
The old toilet rolls.
Yeah, we do it with our cats too.
Love it.
You can carry on if you want to.
What's the question again? I'm really...
What's something that people probably
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
about you?
okay. So, yeah, I love gardening. I don't get much chance to do it. I love knitting. I've got the ukulele and I learned how to
Oh,
play Sprinkle a Little Sunshine so that I could perform it, but I haven't actually done anything with it recently. So I need to pick up that again because my recent song would be really good for ukulele. So there's a whole lot of stuff that I would love to learn to do. Um, and one day when I retire in my 90s, I will I'll take up those hobbies. What
It's hard
about
to
you guys?
imagine you retiring at this point.
What's something that your listeners don't know about you two?
oh,
Oh, I am obsessed with my dog. I will do anything for her. I mean, they might know that. If
I
I
don't
have to
know.
live in my car and sell everything just to keep my dog,
Oh wow!
she is our queen.
Oh lovely. What kind of dog is she?
She's a Whippet Staff Lab.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
crazy smart, very agile. Yeah, she knows all the tricks: skateboarding, ballet twirls, walking like a human,
Oh
bang your
whoa!
head. Yeah.
Fantastic. How old is she?
She's 10 and a half now.
Okay.
Yep,
Wow.
very fit, doing well for herself. Yeah.
Fantastic. Love it. I love the passion of a parent of a fur baby. Fabulous.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was thinking about her a lot because some of the things that you talk about doing with the kids, it's exactly the same stuff I do with her.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
do you know what, when you've got pets, the interaction that you have, you talk to them, you
Mm,
pet them, you
Yep.
look after their
Just like
well-being, their
kids.
mental health, all those sorts of things. It's not
yeah.
too dissimilar, really. Yeah.
Mm,
Harita, how
yeah.
about you? What's something that
Um.
nobody knows about you?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I can't think of anything.
It's hard,
No.
isn't it? It's hard when
Yeah. If I had time to prepare, I might have thought of something. But yeah, about the pets thing, we've had cats for the last year and a half. So we adopted them. They were like, yeah, rescue kittens. My husband and I have never had cats or dogs before that. We kind of grew up in households where our parents never let us. And they're so much fun.
Oh
So
yeah.
they're not brothers, but they're from the same rescue shelter, so they
Oh
treat
wow.
each other like brothers.
Oh
And
great.
I just always take videos of them doing silly things and cleaning each other and chasing
Oh.
each other, and so much fun.
Animals can give you so much joy, can't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much. I wish I had pets when I was younger, but
Hey, you're making up for it now.
yeah, making
And
up for it now.
and giving these two beautiful babies a home, a real loving environment. How
Hmm.
special.
Isn't it
Definitely.
amazing what pets can do for you? How they can make you such a more fun, light-hearted, humorous
Mm,
person.
good for
Having
mental
that
health.
responsibility even can just make you feel more adult.
Yeah, make you feel more adult and make you feel loved and belong
Yeah.
and
Mm,
yeah, part of a family. Yeah, so special. Mm.
I know we
definitely.
need to wrap up soon, so uh, I just wanted to ask, what advice would you give to young people who want to work with children's entertainment or education?
I would say it depends. I mean, I used to I hear this, and I still hear it. Oh, I wish I was Suzy Cato. No, you don't. If you want to be a television presenter, then go do it. Pick up your phone and do it. If you want to work with children, go and do it. Um, it's go and be a preschool educator. Go and be a teacher. Go and take your talents to your local library and offer your skills to be able to work with kids. So beyond what I've done with television, as a parent at my children's primary school a few years ago now, we started a knitting club. And for the younger ones, we did pom poms and finger weaving. You weave the wool around your fingers. And they would still be able to make big bulky scarves and stuff like that. And for the others, and we would have them sitting on a couch like this. It'd be 4 or 5 of them all jammed in. Oh, drop stitch, help, that kind of stuff. We ended up with 70 kids trying to cram into a classroom at lunchtime. So that came to a halt, unfortunately. So we took it to the library. the librarians are always looking for folk to be able to come after school and read with kids, or if you've got a craft that you can share, something like knitting or anything really, um, collage, recycling, all kinds of things. I'm looking at the wall. You can't actually see it from where you are, but the leaf collage that I have made, that you can then do the rubbings and stuff like that. It's just really simple stuff. But if you want to get involved with kids, there are so many amazing opportunities to do that, and they will so benefit from it, and so will you.
Mm.
The
Are there any-
library one's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might bring some camera gear along in some time and just let them have a play around and
Do
learn.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So go and talk to the librarian, and they will set it up properly. And there obviously needs to be a few checks and things like that.
Yeah.
Who you are and what you've done before, and all those sorts of things. But
Mm.
gosh, the kids would so benefit from it. What
Mm.
amazing!
Yeah.
Tell me all about it when you do it. I'd love to see photos.
Yeah, it'd be really special because, like, looking through the lens of a camera teaches you to see the world in a completely different way,
Yeah.
and your attention to detail changes. You get to just frame everything just wherever you go, even without the lens in the end. It's amazing. I'd love to show that to kids.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
good idea.
And for adults to get down on their knees every now and then and just look at the world from the height and the
Like a
viewpoint
kid.
of a child. It
Mm.
just makes things look different. When they open their eyes
Ironically,
and
it's
heart.
one of the best angles when you're taking photos too.
Sure.
So it makes the person look more powerful. So when you're a kid, just imagine every single day you're walking around and all these adults just look so
Yeah.
powerful from that angle.
Yeah, definitely. Me.
Yeah. Are there any projects or goals that you're currently working on?
Yep. Yep. So, uh, hmm,
Just so
um,
many.
yes.
Yeah. Where do you start?
My computer normally sits on my desk in the other room, and on it is kind of my work in progress and things like that up on the wall, so that when I'm not going like this and I look up, I go, oh, I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Um, so I curate the New Zealand Children's Music Awards for APRA AMCOS New Zealand and Recorded Music New Zealand, and I think I mentioned that in my bio.
Mm.
One of the many things, but this year we took it to the public and had public attend what is normally we have a closed industry group, but we get our artists up to perform, and it's held at the Tuning Fork, and we had our first public audience as well, and it was so cool. The idea is to grow that, and same with my Sounds Fun events. I want to grow those throughout the country so that our artists are performing in venues up and down the country, and then the kids get to take a carrot flute home with them, take a paper towel roll trumpet home, those sorts of things, that they are making music and have sprinkled glitter or whatever at the venue to then take and put on their refrigerator to remind them of the event. Those are just two of the things. But instead of having a bucket list, I've got a barrel list, because there's so many things. There's so many screen projects and performance projects and things that I would love, because it's a way of connecting people with their audience and connecting our tamariki with stories and that reflect their lives, and music and performance, and giving kids a chance to be on stage themselves. So yes, there's lots of things.
Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently throughout your career?
Oh, I guess you can. Hindsight's a fabulous thing. So yes, there
Oh,
are things that you
amazing.
could say. Yeah,
So good.
yeah,
Sometimes I wish we didn't have it.
yes, yeah. But I mean, it's a way of learning. We're able to look back and go,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So next time, I won't do
Yeah.
it quite like that.
Mm.
I would have, as a young person, tried to be more confident and more brave and had more belief in myself. As somebody sitting in my 50s, I'm now so much more happy with who I am, and I'm still the same person, but I just accept myself a bit more. So I was always quite my own worst critic, and I guess had a certain amount of imposter syndrome, of how can I be doing all this? How can I have a production company? How can I be, making all this amazing content and meeting all these people and doing all these incredible things, being asked on Dancing with the Stars and all those sorts of things. Somebody's going to find out that really I'm just, this average Joe Blogs person, and that opportunity will be gone. But and so I wish I'd had more belief in myself, and I'd started that barrel list a lot sooner, a lot earlier. Yeah, I think that's, if I was able to talk to my younger self, I would just say, girl, go do it, have fun, let go. Yeah.
I think that's very common though.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of a lot of people are not that confident in their 20s and 30s. Like I've got a family friend. She's in her 70s, and she's quite well known in Wellington. And she's so funny. I love hanging out with her because she always just says to me, "Oh, when you get to my age, you can just say whatever's in your mind
Yeah.
without caring what anyone else thinks."
So true.
And she's so opinionated, but like she's awesome. She's so
Yeah.
intelligent as well. And she's like, "Oh, that's the best thing about getting older. You don't care about what you say."
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And knowing that nobody thinks about you as much as you think about you. So
Mm,
you go, oh, what did I just say? What did they think about me? And oh, they must think
yeah,
I'm such a so and so.
they're
Yeah,
not
you
thinking
did
that.
something, you made a mistake. People have gone on and they've moved off to the next thing, and you're still
Mm,
holding it. You're dragging it along in a suitcase behind you, type thing. Let it go, because they
mm,
let it go ages ago. And if they hadn't let it go, there could be a reason for that. Maybe it was a big mistake, and really you needed to think things through a little more clearly. But yeah, I think if we can learn that as a young person, we just open the door far wider to the possibilities in the world. Make mistakes. Make mistakes. That's the way you learn. Make yourself fall over, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and then start all over again.
What have been some of the funniest moments that you have had in your career? I feel like you must have so many working with kids, just your personality alone.
Yeah, look, funniest things. Look, when you look at the bloopers at the end of Suzy's World, you know that we had a lot of fun on set because and that's one of the reasons we kept them at the bloopers at the end of Susie's World, was to show you that everybody makes mistakes. And yeah, stumble your words, all those sorts of things. You drop things, crash. The world's not going to end. Everything's going to be okay. So we had a lot of fun on all of those programs. Funniest thing, oh, kids say the darndest things. Oh my goodness. One of the first times I ever attended a baby show, as a presenter, I had been on the set of You and Me for maybe a month, a couple of months. And we went to the baby show to promote the program and all those sorts of things, because I had just taken over from the previous presenter. Pauline Cooper had come on board with You and Me right from inception, and she had resigned to go and do something else, and they needed a new presenter. So I auditioned along with about 70 or 80 other people, and we are at this baby show. We've got a bean chair, we've got some big cushions, there's books and stuff like that, and various families are coming up to us. Some hadn't heard of the program before, others knew of the program, and there's this one little chap that comes up, and he looks at me, and he storms up to me, and he goes, "What are you doing in Pauline's house?" Because there was no explanation. She said she sang "See You, See You Later" at the end of that episode, and at the beginning of the next, "Oh, hello, my friend. Haere mai, come and join me." It's like, where's Pauline? That's not Pauline. So he was quite upset about this, that there'd been no explanation, and the strange woman was in Pauline's house. So I basically had to sit with him and just chat and say, oh, unfortunately, Pauline's moved out of the house. She's moved house and I've moved in. So I'm going to be looking after her goldfish and watering her plants and things like that for a while. Would that be okay? Eventually, he came round to thinking, begrudgingly gave me a high five, and off he went. So I was looking after the house for now. Okay. Could Pauline come back? And I said, oh, hopefully, maybe one day. The next little one that came up was quite accepting of me being in the house. She came up quite shy to begin with, and then she flopped down into my knee, and we had a story, and she gave me a big hug afterwards, and then ran across to her parents. And they said, what's she like? And she just gave a big sigh and went, soft.
Oh.
And if you could be described as being soft, I think that would be a wonderful thing to be.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I've loved chatting to you so much, very much.
Likewise. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, well, thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Harita?
No, I think we've covered a lot of things. Yeah, it's been really awesome getting to know you a bit better and meeting someone that I grew up watching on TV like 30 years ago.
Yeah, so we're just friends from way back.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about your production company someday. I understand how hard it is to run your own business as well as just have the kids, all of it. You've done it all. It's crazy.
Yeah, but with a
How?
really good, supportive husband, and in production, an amazing team, and Energizer batteries.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Full charge. Oh, well, thank you so much. Oh, is there anything you wanted to say?
It's time
Oh,
to
there we
say
go.
goodbye.
We'll lead off with that.
Ka kite, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.